To the news this morning. And new for you, a woman behind bars accused of attacking a guy using her car. News Channel 5's Matthew Torres is live for us at the CJC to sort this one out. How's the victim doing in this case, Matthew?
Well, despite getting hit, that victim is doing fine this morning. No major injuries whatsoever. Now, police were called out to the Super 8 motel out on Spence Lane in South Nashville. This was late yesterday afternoon. The victim said he saw Marisha Gooch and her husband arguing out in the parking lot. Police said she then got into her car and drove up to the victim and asked to use his phone. He told her no. And that's when the victim said she got mad, sped off, made a U-turn in the parking lot. And when he turned around, there just wasn't enough time for him to move out of the way. That car struck him on the left side. Again, he is doing fine this morning. She left the car and then took off. Now, the victim said he only knew Gooch by her nickname Strawberry and gave police a specific description about a tattoo on her arm of a strawberry and the word straw. Police said several other people in the area knew of Strawberry and tipped them, believing that she may be staying at the Drake Motel on Murfreesboro Pike. Police went out there and did find Gooch. Now, according to the affidavit report, she admitted to making the U-turn, speeding and hitting him, but she said it was because of her brakes that weren't working. She said she also panicked, which is why she left the car out on the scene. This morning, at last check, she's still in jail, charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and leaving the scene of an accident. We're reporting live at the Criminal Justice Center. Matthew Torres, News Channel 5 HD.
Matthew, thanks for the update. New information also this morning about a fatal crash that happened yesterday along I-40 East near Charlotte Pike. The identities of the passengers killed have now been released. They've been identified as Michael Dombrowski and Sarah Pierce. Another, Benjamin Benance, was taken to the hospital in critical condition but has now been upgraded to stable. Investigators say that the crash happened when a Honda traveled off the road, hit a rock wall, and then careened back into the retaining wall, the car landing upside down and ejecting those passengers. It's unclear who was driving right now. There's no evidence of drugs or alcohol, but speed, they say, was indeed a factor. New this morning, an 18-year-old has died after a fatal crash in Robertson County. According to the Tennessee Highway Patrol, Corey Stokes was driving west on Cedar Grove. He went off the road and overcorrected, which caused his tire to blow. The car then was rolling. Stokes was ejected from the vehicle and died from his injuries. He was not wearing a seatbelt, and THP says it would have made a difference in the outcome of that crash. Buckle up. A wanted burglar now behind bars, all thanks to a tip from his own wife. It's all related to a burglary at the Speedy Mart in Donaldson. Police arresting Jimmy Phillips for the crime. They say he's the guy that broke into the Speedy Mart back on the 20th using a crowbar. In fact, surveillance cameras captured Phillips putting cartons of cigarettes into a garbage can and then putting that into the back of his pickup truck. Phillips' wife and a parole officer called the officers identifying the suspect. Phillips was already in jail, though, on unrelated charges. Well, as of this weekend, it has officially been 1 year now since the disappearance of Nikki Burgess. She's 37 years old. She's a Hermitage model who has a 10-year-old son. There's been no arrests in the case, even though that guy, Caleb Cannon, is a person of interest. In fact, they named him that. He's the child's father. They seized his car back at the beginning of the investigation, but Burgess's body has never been found and Cannon's never been charged. Nikki's friends rely on the memories of her to help them get through this.
Nikki was the life of the party. She was the loudest, most boisterous, most fun. She would not let you sit out on anything. She had the best ideas, and everybody just gathered around her because you knew you were going to have fun with Nikki.
Over the past several months now, both Burgess's family and Cannon's family have been locked in a bitter custody battle over the child. This morning, a skydiver back at home after being hospitalized from a parachuting accident that looked horrible. Watch this. John Pitts was released from Vanderbilt yesterday. He was hurt during this jump at a Memorial Day service in Winchester. And from the video you see right here, what happens, the wind carries him right into a power pole. Good gracious. He falls to the ground, but luckily Only minor injuries, and he's now home from the hospital. No one else was hurt. Scary to see that. Yesterday, several veterans in Clarksville took time to remember their missing comrades on this Memorial Day. One by one, the names of Tennessee soldiers who went missing while serving in the Vietnam War were read. And as their names were called, a junior ROTC member said absent but not forgotten, and an empty chair with their name on it placed in front of the podium. It's the 26th year this event is held, and every year dozens show up to pay honor.
It's almost a cliche, but they gave all. That many of us didn't, but there were many of us that lost friends and brothers and sisters over there.
Indeed. In fact, there are a number of names of Tennessee's missing in action or prisoners of war. It's gone down, though. When it began back in 1989, they had 43 names that were being called, and now we're down to 27. If you're looking for some memorials to go to this morning to honor those who fought for our country, here are some options. Wilson County hosting a ceremony at the new Veterans Park. Starts at 9 o'clock this morning, about 2 hours from now, and it should last about an hour. More than 200 names of fallen veterans will be read from the monument there at the park. Up the road in Sumner County, Vince Gill will be at a Memorial Day ceremony there. Folks in Sumner County invited to a special Memorial Day service in Gallatin. That starts at 11:30 at the Sumner County Veterans Park. And let's head west to Shiloh National Military Park. They're hosting a traditional Memorial Day observance starting at 11 o'clock. It's one of the services over in West Tennessee. Following the National Cemetery service, that location will be hosting a memorial service at one of the largest Confederate mass burial sites in the nation. Later this morning, runners will be lacing up their sneakers for the Memorial Day Dash. In fact, they're probably getting ready for it right about now. Runners, walkers, and joggers hitting the pavement at 8 o'clock. The route starts at Greer Stadium. It circles around Fort Negley, which is awfully heavy and hilly, and then it ends at the Nashville City Cemetery. Registration $35 if you sign up right now. They open the registration at 6:30 this morning, so that's been going on for a while. All the proceeds of this run benefit the restoration of the Nashville City Cemetery, and hopefully